Well, WTOC continues to follow the breaking news in Chatham County, where the mother of the toddler, Quinton Simon, who went missing a month ago, has been arrested. Police holding a news conference just moments ago, sharing with us the heartbreaking news that human remains were found, believed to be that of one-year-old Quinton. Our Shay Schrader was there, and she joins us live with a recap of what we know. Shay?
We know that Quinton was first reported missing almost 7 weeks ago, and today his mother, Leilani Simon, who has been the sole suspect in his disappearance and death, has been arrested and charged with several things, including murder, false report of a crime, false statements, and concealing of another. So 4 fairly major charges there. Will Clark with the FBI said that in the landfill search on Friday, the FBI recovered what they believe to be human remains, though that is yet to be confirmed by testing. But they do have good reason to believe that that is human remains. And then if they are, there will be a DNA analysis to check and make sure that those are indeed Quinton's remains. Leilani was arrested earlier this afternoon and booked into the Chatham County Detention Center. I saw her being brought in. She was brought in a police car with a black vehicle behind her. She was in a hoodie with her hood pulled up over her head as she walked into the detention center. We're not exactly sure yet when that bond hearing is going to be, but this all comes just days before the holidays. And a couple weeks ago, I spoke to Leilani personally, and she told me that if there was any evidence that suggests that she had anything to do with Quinton's death and disappearance, that she would turn herself in. Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Hadley said that she was not given that opportunity.
We have put thousands of hours into this, and we believed that this was the right move today to be able to do that. She doesn't deserve a Thanksgiving, quite frankly, if I can go off script a little bit. Quinton deserves that.
It's yet to be determined whether the landfill search is over or not. So there is potential that the landfill search could continue. We're just not exactly sure at this point, but we will, of course, keep you updated as we learn any new developments. Live in Chatham County, Shay Schrader, WTOC News.
All right. Thank you, Shay. Alyssa Jackson going back out to the neighborhood to speak with neighbors before this news conference. She joins us now live with more about what they had to say about the arrest. Alyssa?
Hey, Mike, as you can imagine, the neighborhood feeling a lot today. They have been involved in this since the search started, since baby Quinton was reported missing. And as Will Clark with the FBI said, this is heartbreaking for everyone. And I talked to a neighbor who lives just doors down from the baby's house who said she's been watching this. She's been waiting for some action to be taken. She's been waiting for someone to be held responsible. So she just voiced to me how emotional today is for her and how she's happy that this is finally moving forward.
I was happy. I'm glad that they've arrested her. It's just been heartbreaking. And this is the best news that has come out of this situation. I still cry. I can think of him, they'll show a picture of him on TV, and I'll cry. It happened right around my birthday. I told people that was the most miserable birthday I've ever had.
And as the Chatham County Police Department mentioned earlier, millions of people have been watching this from the start. So just as you guys saw moments ago, Chief Hadley getting emotional, so many people are emotional watching this unfold. Obviously, there is no good outcome to this case, but we were told that Leilani Simon will have her first appearance tomorrow in court. We'll be watching that as it develops. Live at the Chatham County Police Department, Alyssa Jackson, WTOC News.
Again, you can find everything we know about this case on our website, WTOC.com. Just look for the Quinton Simon case page under the News tab. We'll be right back.
Welcome in, everyone. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to the Community Crime Network. As you can see, we finally got news on the Quinton Simon case, which we all pretty much figured this out from day one. It seems like the law enforcement did as well. The mother, Leilani Simon, has been arrested and charged with the death of her son. Salute to everybody in the building. I see Ra, the creators in the building, True Crime and other stuff is here. Fifi's in the building. You heard what Miss Fifi said. Make sure you hit that like button. Share the live if you can. Definitely appreciate it. I'm going to try to stick to just all my true crime over here. So it won't be none on the other page. So if you want to see true crime, this is where it's going to be. But it seems like they have found remains that they have not confirmed yet. That is those of little Quinton. I want to give a shout out to Carol Smith for keeping me updated. She sent me the link to let me know because I had just got out the shower and came to my phone and there it was. So shout out to Carol for sending me that. But yeah, it's a sad moment, but this is something that I think everybody expected, you know. But the good thing is they got the person who did it. And I'm still wondering if anybody else was involved. But of course, we know they said that was the only suspect. So my answer to that would be probably not. But you never know. I definitely want to say rest in peace to little Quinton. Sad day, man. Sad day. Because, you know, we starting to see this type of stuff happen more than it should, man. Like seriously. Like, I don't understand it. I don't think I will ever understand it. Maybe it's not meant for me to understand, but if you don't want your kid, give them up for adoption. It's to me, it's simple. If you did something accidentally, own up to it. It's better than being charged with murder. You may still have to do some time, but it'd probably be like some what they call it, manslaughter or something like that. But when you hide things, there's no way you're gonna tell me it's an accident because you shouldn't have hid it, regardless of what you did or how it happened. You feel me? And hug your kids, love your kids, man, because they leaving way too early than what they should. It's too many parents burying kids. You know, we've been on the Shanquella Robinson case. You know, the parents had nothing to do with that. But when it comes to the parents as the reason that they're burying kids, I have no sympathy for you. You just got what the hell you deserve. But I'm trying to look for the whole press conference if I can find it so we can watch that. So give me 1 second and I'll see if I can get that pulled up for y'all. All right, so I think I may have found it. Give me 1 second. And I'm gonna take a look at y'all comments. Again, I appreciate y'all for being here. Give me 1 second. I think I got it here.
Good evening, everybody. Jeff Hadley. I'm the Chief of Police for the Chatham County Police Department. I'm accompanied this evening by Will Clark with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This afternoon, Chatham County Police Department detectives arrested 22-year-old Leilani Simon and charged her with malice murder, concealing the death of another person, false reporting, and making false statements in connection with the disappearance and death of her son, 20-month-old Quinton Simon. Leilani Simon is being held at the Chatham County Detention Center and is awaiting a bond hearing. We do not anticipate any other arrests in this case. She has been the sole suspect from the beginning. On Friday, our search teams at the waste management landfill found what they believed were human remains. This afternoon, the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia confirmed that they are, in fact, human remains. Additional testing, including a DNA analysis, is being conducted, and we have every reason to believe that this will confirm the remains are Quinton's. This is a heartbreaking development for everyone who loved Quinton, for the many people who came to know him after his disappearance, and for our department. When we first received the call that Quinton was missing, we were hopeful that we would find him alive and unharmed. But as we have been telling you for weeks, all of our evidence pointed to his mother being responsible for his death and disappearance, and his remains being found in the landfill. I would like to thank the many people and agencies who worked hard to ensure that Quinton was found, that he would have a proper resting place, and that justice would be served. First and foremost, I want to thank the FBI. We are incredibly grateful for their invaluable assistance. Their expertise, their manpower, resources, and guidance are unmatched and were crucial in our efforts to find Quinton. They were on the scene within 3 hours of Quinton being reported missing and have assisted with every aspect of this investigation. The resources they poured into the landfill search are extraordinary and are the reason that we were able to find Quinton. I can't thank them enough. Chatham County Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division also deserves special recognition. Their devotion to Quinton, to making sure this crime did not go unsolved, is an example of police work at its finest. Our detectives worked tirelessly and were determined to follow every lead and uncover every piece of evidence in this case. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Chatham County Sheriff's Office, and Department of Natural Resources all had officers searching the landfill alongside our officers in the FBI. The support of the Chatham County Emergency Management Agency, Chatham Emergency Services, Chatham Occupational Safety and Health, Savannah Police, and Savannah Fire also were invaluable in this massive effort. Finally, I would like to thank the many people who showed their support for our department during this incredibly difficult and important investigation. We appreciate those who kept faith in the system and waited patiently for evidence we needed to make sure Quinton has every opportunity to receive the justice he deserves. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Will Clark, who has some comments from the FBI.
Good evening. My name is Will Clark. I'm the Senior Supervisory Resident Agent of the Savannah and Brunswick offices of the FBI. 1 month ago, we began this landfill search alongside Chatham County Police Department with one purpose in mind, and that was to find Quinton and to bring him home. On Friday, search crews from the FBI and Chatham County found what we preliminarily believe are partial remains from a human child. Those bones were immediately sent to our lab in Quantico, Virginia. Additional testing for potential confirmation is now underway. It could be days before we have final results. What happened to this 20-month-old child is unthinkable. No child should be harmed by anyone, let alone the person in their lives that should be their protector. This investigation does not end here. There is more work to do. The FBI, along with our law enforcement partners, will continue to find justice for Quinton. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll appreciate that. And we'll try to answer some questions that you may have. Just be mindful that there's many we may not be able to answer, but we'll be willing to take some questions at this time.
You charged Leilani with murder. You guys found bones in the landfill? Is that?
We found human remains. Yes, ma'am.
Do you
You
believe the
charged
point that
Leilani with
Quinton was
murder.
put in that dumpster? Do you believe that he was alive then or had died before he was in the dumpster and then made it to the landfill?
Could you? I didn't hear the first part. I'm
Do
sorry.
you believe that Quinton Simon was alive when he was in the landfill? Do you believe he died before he was put in that dumpster?
I can't answer that question.
You've charged Leilani with murder. Can you speak on whether you think it was accidental or intentional?
I can't speak to that.
Can you talk a little bit about what evidence you all confirmed or learned on Friday led you all to go ahead and make that arrest specifically for today versus earlier on?
Well, as we had said from the beginning with the landfill, we had every belief that Quinton was there in the landfill. Having found what we found on Friday and the preliminary findings from the FBI that we got today led us to make an arrest today. We feel that we have a very strong case. We have put thousands of hours into this, and we believed that this was the right move today to be able to do that. She doesn't deserve a Thanksgiving, quite frankly, if I can go off script a little bit. Quinton deserves that.
You said that you didn't believe any other arrests would be made. Are you guys looking into Billy Joe at all?
We are not.
And so you just confirm and kind of clarify that you all were looking to find some sort of remains from the body to go ahead and move forward with the arrest.
That's correct.
Chief, would the charges have been the same in this case had you not made that discovery on Friday? Say if this case had continued, if the search found nothing in the landfill, would you still have been able to make a case for Quinton to have justice, or how significant was this find?
Well, it was very significant, obviously, for obvious reasons. We do believe we had a strong case otherwise, but that would have been in counsel with the Chatham County District Attorney's Office, but we believe we had a strong case otherwise.
You've certainly been very personal about this, and you said at that landfill that day with the picture behind you, you said, we want to make sure we bring Quinton home and we give him a final place of rest. You wanted him to be able to make sure he wasn't in that dump. On Friday, how personal was that find for you?
Well, it was very personal, quite frankly. I mean, there's a lot of aspects to that. I mean, knowing the hard work that went into this investigation, everybody, not just Chatham County Police Department, but everybody that chipped in, the FBI, GBI, DNR, Chatham County Sheriff's Office, the civilians, you name it, from A to Z, we were 100% committed to bringing justice for Quinton and to appreciate the amount of human effort, the amount of human emotion that goes into a case like this, and to appreciate, hopefully, that this comes to a conclusion in terms of a conviction and things of that nature. You have a lot of emotions about that. You also have a lot of emotions as just a general human being, as a person who has children. You see the impact that has on people. So if you step back and take a moment to kind of absorb that, I think that if you didn't have any feelings about that, you might have to ask yourself a few questions.
Chief, like what is evidence collected outside of the search in the landfill, the remains that you guys found on Friday? Is there any evidence you guys found in the searches you guys did of the pool, cell phones, or computers, or anything that also led to the arrest?
I can't answer that.
Has Leilani's status as a flight risk changed, or did it change prior to the arrest?
No.
Chief, you say this is preliminary. You would assume there isn't other human remains in that landfill, but until you get it fully 100% confirmed that these are Graves remains, what makes you confident to make the arrest today?
I can't get into the high level of detail, but just on some of the preliminary information that we got from the FBI, we have a high level of confidence that those are Quinton's remains. And we felt that we needed to make the arrest today because that was the right thing to do.
There's a lot of
Now I want to pause that right here real quick. We'll come back to it. We got my brother John Q in the building. What's going on, my brother?
I am good. I am good. I'm busy doing my work. You over here doing your work, and I said, "Oh man."
Yeah, man.
I saw the notification earlier, but I couldn't get off the phone. So
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carol sent it to me. I was just getting out the shower. I said, "Oh, I got to go live." But so yeah, I mean, he just kind of answered the question that I was just finna ask, and he still didn't answer really, because I was gonna ask, like, is that the reason they arrested her? But they haven't confirmed that it was him yet. You know what I'm saying? But his response was, we arrested her because they felt like it was the right thing to do. Shit, if you felt so strong about it, why didn't you do this so long ago? You feel
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Well, I guess they wanted to make sure that they found what they were looking for. And given the proper time, which they basically had, I knew they were going to find the remains. Because if they had a good lead that took them way out there where they were, and they were using canine cadaver dogs and had the equipment, and they were scaling that area, I knew they were going to eventually find it.
yeah, they actually,
Find them.
towards, maybe a week ago, maybe even 2 weeks ago, they kind of, the way they was speaking in the media is like they was feeling like they wasn't going to find him. In the very beginning, of course, they felt very confident that he was in the landfill. But I think it's just they haven't confirmed it yet. But to me, being that they arrested her, they're pretty strong on who it is that they found. So I think we will just be waiting for the update or the confirmation that it is Quinton. But I think the fact that they arrested her, that's why I feel like they arrested her, because they know it's him.
Yeah. I mean, come to think of it, and I'm not being insensitive at all when you have law enforcement agencies working together, FBI, local, county, and state people. You had the CAR team out there too.
Mm-hmm.
And they pool their resources together, and they get a good lead, whether it be video surveillance footage or someone physically saw her leave at a certain time, and then they followed the timeline that way.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much knew, based on the direction she went, where she went.
Right.
And then just followed that path, which took them where they ended up, and knew that if they could get a positive ID on the remains, whether it be dental or even DNA, from the remains that they found, and it didn't take them long to make a matchup.
Right.
Hence the result we got by the mother being charged with murder.
Right. And she's been the only suspect the whole time. And I was wondering, like, would there be anybody else, even though they say she's the only suspect, and he just confirmed it earlier before you came in that there's no other arrest planned to be made after this. So it is what it is. But it's just weird to me that the grandmother, her mother, didn't know anything about this. That blows my mind, though. It really does.
Yeah. I mean, she felt that she could keep it to herself and not involve anybody else, and obviously maybe lie her way out the box. Maybe she could get away with it.
Yeah, and in that first interview that they had with her, she stated she didn't trust her daughter. She said a lot of things that put a lot of doubts in people's mind off rip. You know what I'm saying? She was saying that she does some things that she don't agree with, things like that. And of course, she's a young woman. She's what, 25? I can't remember how old she is, but she's living her life, and it seems like she want to party. She don't want to be a mother, and that's what I was saying in the chat, y'all. She's not focused on being a mother. She want to have fun. She's out. Her son is missing. She's out getting drunk at bars and shit, hitting on men. Who does that, man?
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah, she felt in some way, shape, or form that there's just no way they're gonna find Quinton,
Right.
and so I can relax a bit, and I don't know.
You're right. That's what I
Man.
felt. I felt like she was real comfortable. Like they're not
Yeah.
gonna find her. But I truly still feel like they still would have arrested her because where the evidence took them at. You know what I'm saying? Just because they didn't find him, because we done seen in several cases where they arrested people with no body.
Right. Yep. But in this case, she had eyes on her. Here she
Right.
is, going out, partying, drinking, not giving a damn or care about what's going on. That kind of tips her hand big time.
Yes, absolutely.
To say the behavior is inconsistent with what a natural mother would be, how a natural mother would be acting in a situation like this.
Right. Absolutely.
So she kind of tipped her hand and gave herself away.
Yeah. And
almost
then
almost gave them an I dare you to find him. I dare you. I'm going out to party. I dare you to find him, Oh,
right. And when the babysitter came over to try to help, they told her they didn't want her help. Who the fuck says something like that, So
right.
that she did a lot of things out in public for people to see, to let us know, oh, we got to look at you. Definitely. We're gonna finish up this press conference, which I think is like 4 minutes left. So let's check this out.
What kind of remains are we talking when you say human remains? Any more specific details about?
No, ma'am. Go ahead, bro.
Chief, this case has been one that has made national news. There's been a lot of pressure against you personally, with your name out of the mouth of protesters, out of the mouth of people in the community. You've gotten a lot of pressure about making this arrest. Standing here today and knowing that you have this key piece of evidence that you just said, what kind of message do you send to the community? For the people, that had your back, that said, yes, we're going to wait on the police to do this. And then to the people who said this arrest should have happened almost 50 days ago.
Well, I didn't honestly feel a lot of pressure, quite frankly, only because I believed in our investigative process, the expertise that we were seeking that was around us, having a little bit of experience, in this profession. I understood people's perspective. I understood that, some people had their own strong feelings about when an arrest should be made and things that were going on. But we stayed focused on what we know and what we know how to do. And in conjunction with the FBI, we stayed the course. And so to those folks that supported us, to the citizens that believed in us and believed in our department, I thank you. And for those that had questions, that's their right to do so. This is America. You can have all the opinions you want, but I'm just so proud of our team and where we're at today.
As far as today's conclusion, do you feel like there's a sense of relief as far as you all officers, FBI agents, to come to an arrest to go ahead and move forward with this case?
Sure there is. I wouldn't be honest if I didn't say that there was, some weight lifted off of the organization and particularly those detectives and investigators who were completely and 100% committed to seeking justice for Quinton. So there is a little bit of relief, but be mindful, there's still a lot of work to do. And they're dedicated to doing that. And we want to see this to successful prosecution.
I got it. Is the landfill search over?
We haven't made that decision yet. That's a decision point that we'll come to once we're able to get some more analysis done. And we'll confer with the FBI and see what the best course of action is.
And Leilani is also charged with making false statements. What false statements did she make?
I can't get into that.
Did cooperating with police right now? Is Leilani cooperating with police?
She's at the Chatham County Detention Center right now.
And so I want to go back to the initial question that I asked about whether or not you guys found bones in the landfill, because Mr. Parker said bones, and you said human remains. Which one?
Well, human remains, some of that are some of them are human bones, and some other evidentiary matters.
And as far as the bond, is there, do you all have any updates as to when that will be the bond hearing, when that will be?
I do not have that confirmed. I do believe it'll take place tomorrow, but I don't have any time or any confirmation on that. We did, take her to the detention center rather late in the day, so I'm sure that information will come out pretty soon.
Leilani made a statement to me that she would turn herself in. Was there any talk of giving her that opportunity?
No. Right.
Chief, you said in the beginning that we'll work the landfill. You said that there was a very specific dumpster that this child was put in. Can you just give us the location of that? How far this was from the house where Quinton was last seen?
I can't give you that information.
I just have one more question. Can you just give
Last
us
question.
an estimate on how long this analysis could take of what you guys found?
It could take up to a week. And I have one last comment, and I want to thank you guys. Because just like sometimes law enforcement gets the short end of the stick, you guys get the short of the stick too. And you guys have been amazing, our local media throughout this. You've been fair, you've been direct, you've asked good questions, and you've, given us some deference when we needed some deference. And so I just wanted to say thank you for your work that you do every day. Thank you.
Man. And
Yeah, he was definitely feeling it there.
yes, he almost let loose. He almost let loose, and to see things like that, to be honest with you, it lets you know that they take their job serious.
Yeah,
we give law enforcement a lot of hell because of a lot of the bullshit that we see, on the news, on video, body cams, and things like that. But to see, an officer get emotional about something like this lets you know that his heart was in it the whole time. So I got to salute Chatham County Police Department, which is 45 minutes right up the street from me. So that's really big. But I got another question, and anyone can answer, but I'm going to ask you first, John. Now we done seen a couple of cases recently, this being one of them, and also the teacher from out of what it was, is it Tennessee? I can't even think of the lady now. I worked so many cases. Liza Fletcher.
Fletcher. Okay.
Yeah, it's the teacher that got abducted and killed. What do you feel, or why do you feel certain cases, the FBI get involved immediately, and they don't do that? They don't do that with every case. I don't understand that. Just like Shanquella, they ready to help right now, right now. You know what I'm saying? So, what's your thoughts on that, man?
Right. I mean, in covering the various different cases, alongside of you, from what I've experienced, there is a disparity that's out there, no doubt. Racial disparity with some cases. And some cases you see the law enforcement jump together, pull together, and it seemed to resolve these cases when they do that, as opposed to, letting the locals just handle it, keeping resources, whether it be the FBI or whether it be state police or whatever have you, in other cases, and they seem to just drag out and go longer. For some strange reason. But yes, there is racial disparity out there. I mean, it's nothing new. and taking a look at the various different cases, there are some cases where, for some strange reason, could be someone out of the community, someone that's well known, or whatever the background is, it seems to draw more attention when it comes to resources being used, as opposed to, like a Kanika Jenkins, where the FBI wanted to step in, but Rosemont police told them, no, we got this. We're all good. We got the manpower. We have the resources and everything. We should be able to wrap this up in no time,
Right.
Yeah.
True Crime says low income. And I'm assuming that you're talking about either the family or the law enforcement department, which I don't think they don't have to pay the FBI to help, do they?
No.
So
No, not at all.
So
Not
my
at all.
assumption is she must be talking about, the economical structure of that environment. That's my assumption, but I don't think low income should stop anyone from trying to solve a case, because that's
Right.
what they're getting paid to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when it comes to the Kanika Jenkins, what's the other young lady the case we're working on out of Atlanta? Jesus, can't even think of it. And then you got the other young lady from out of Texas who've been missing for a long time, and FBI hasn't gotten involved. That either says to me that the locals don't want their help, or I would never think that the FBI would turn down help. Would you?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay. Just want to
Wouldn't
make
think so.
sure.
No. And you can compare that once again to, let's say, Daniel Robinson's case,
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to Gabby Petito's case. You take the dynamics that happened there. Gabby Petito had all the resources. Boom. Go her direction. At the same time, Daniel Robinson was missing it predominantly around the same time. Didn't get those resources.
Absolutely not.
And you would figure Daniel, having a disability, a physical handicap of his right hand, would warrant a little more attention. He's a well-to-do field geologist for a reputable company out there in Buckeye, Arizona, 25 years of age, and he goes missing, and doesn't come home. Whereas you have someone out of who went missing, I think it was Wyoming, somewhere in that area, Gabby Petito with a boyfriend, and boom, she goes missing, and all of a sudden resources are unloaded. So, you kind of figure, and that's on the quiet side, they kept it on the quiet side, but physically we see the difference in how both cases evolved.
But
when it comes to law enforcement and support resources. Yep.
So say for instance you're the head of a department in your city, and there's a case that is starting to get national recognition, and you're having a hard time solving this case, and the world knows, just like a lot of people in this chat already said, you have to ask for help. And you haven't asked for help at all, do you now there's going to be one or two things that people start to think about your department. Either you're covering something up or you just don't care. As a department head, how would you feel? Like, would you just allow that to continue, or would you do something? Because I don't understand, if you can't solve this case and everybody knows and everybody's all on social media just putting this case out trying to solve it for you, you should be embarrassed. How can
Yeah.
they just sit there and go without asking for help? I don't get that.
Yeah, it puzzles me too, boss. It really does. It puzzled me too. Whereas you would figure, the authority of law enforcement across the country, you've got federal, you've got state, and you've got local people all under the same oath, if you will, to protect and serve, would want to resolve a case as quickly as possible, especially if it's a missing person or a child that goes missing, or and a young adult that goes missing, or they're dealing with a homicide where there's some foul play going on. You would figure they would all jump in, unbiased, and go to work,
Right.
go to work and do their job. But we've seen otherwise. Now, we don't know if it's budgetary reasons that prevents that. And I'm talking about the local police. They're under constricted budgets, just as the state is, and just as, federal resources, if you open their door, they'll jump in. But they have to be invited in according to their protocol, according to their protocol. And I think that there are some cases where that protocol should not exist.
I agree. Exactly.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's one thing I thought there was like, heads of a department, then I thought it was like a chain of custody, not chain of custody, a chain of command.
Yeah.
You got your locals, then you got the feds. Like, you feel like the Fed can override anything you got them tell them. Like, no.
Exactly.
It's just like, I guess they call it what, the CIA. Who the one who investigates departments? What's the name of that? Is it the CIA?
Oh, you're talking about internal affairs.
Internal affairs. You
Yeah.
can't tell internal affairs shit if they want to investigate you, if and to find out what you got going on over here.
Oh yeah.
I just felt like the feds or the FBI should be able to say, you know what, you're not doing a good job on this case. There's a lot of evidence left on the table. We gonna sit you down on this one. You feel what I'm saying? And we gonna take over. I just feel like they should have the right to do that shit.
Right. And I thank goodness, and I thank God, put it this way, that the federal people got involved in the Breonna Taylor case.
Yes.
Because of they had evidence and had findings of police corruption. So when this story came out regarding Breonna Taylor, who lost her life, and you had 4 police officers that conspired to serve a falsified warrant on a person. Yeah, the Fed, hey, you're not doing your job. And I'm glad they caught that, because that also, bore down on the Attorney General's office as well, because I forget his name, out of Memphis. The Attorney General said, no, nothing here. The police did their job. Everybody's good. One officer was indicted but acquitted. And they looked at that hard. And I'm just glad that, the folks in the federal Department of Justice said not so fast.
Right.
And who knows, Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton and a number of civil rights leaders jumped into that, and they shook some trees. I wish they would have done the same thing for Jelani Day.
Most definitely. God,
Yeah.
that's, man, it's a lot of things that we'll probably never understand. We can always assume until we find the facts, but I just want to show love to Chatham County and all the law enforcement departments all over the world that just steps up and do the right thing, man, because all of them don't do it.
They certainly did. They won on this one. And if they have a lock, stock, and barrel case, and the prosecutor has got everything that they need to to get her like they got her and charged her, good. Let it stick and let us serve her time.
Right. Well, we got the answer we wanted, even though we expected it. So, I'm not going to hold y'all too much longer. John got a live coming up tonight at 8:30. So y'all make sure y'all be there for a special table talk with the Shanquella B. Robinson case. Want to know, was it a setup? If you haven't been following it, you slipping. So make sure you're there tonight at 8:30. And if you missed the last roundtable, go check out 54 Keys page and you can catch up. I dropped the link in the chat earlier. And we'll be back soon. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And be safe, be vigilant, hug your kids, love your kids, man. We out. I see y'all at John Q's tonight, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, as always.
Much love.